Not outstanding but good.
This is for the people who doubted me.
Maybe they should rethink their strategies.
Merasakan ini satu permainan yang meletihkan, memenatkan.
UMNO lost Nenggiri.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. My name is Amalina, Kamal, and today is a very special episode because we've got a special Olympics update for you as well. Now joining me in this particular discussion, I've got my lovely colleagues. First up, Hazween Hassan, my co-host. Welcome Hazween.
Hello, sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay, start from
my
the
surprise.
It's fine.
Hi, Amalina.
Hi.
Nice to be here again. Yep,
Nice to have you
back.
here as well. And of course, we also have NST Sports' very own reporter. I mean, somewhat a senior already, Fadhli Ishak. I mean, you might have seen him next to me on set some time ago. Welcome, Fadhli, to Beyond the Headlines.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. You okay?
Yeah.
Energy okay?
Okay.
A lot. No.
I'm on Paris time right now actually. So
No, okay.
I'm a bit groggy.
Aren't we all? But to be fair, I didn't watch up until 2 a.m. I clocked in a little bit early. But of course, I do not want to miss in giving a big warm welcome to our special guest, sports analyst Datuk Dr. Pekan Ramli today. Welcome, Datuk, to Beyond the Headlines.
Terima kasih. Thank you.
Datuk, still okay?
Okay.
Tidur lambat?
Tidur lambat semalam.
Juga tidur lambat
I
juga.
follow Anik.
But how's everyone doing? I mean, like, how's the game so far been for you? Fadli, at least for you.
So far, we've had a few surprises, and like especially yesterday, it was it was heartbreaking for everyone to see Anik Kasdan, miss out on a historic medal for us in weightlifting. It's only 1 kilo we missed that, and then we had the badminton. The 2 bronzes in badminton as well. So overall, I think so far we've had a good games for Malaysia. At
least some medals scored there. But we're going to go into that in a bit. But in a way, it's been a thrilling competition so far, right, Hazween?
It has indeed, Amalina. But I just want to say that we have both our guests on are on Paris time. Hopefully, we can carry the show an actual local time. Although I did have a little glitch in the beginning there. Hopefully that will be the last of it for this one. Now, so it's been a thrilling competition so far. 12 days filled with adrenaline for Malaysian fans. Track cyclist Datuk Azizul Hasni Awang opened his campaign by breaking his own national record in the men's individual sprint qualifying round on Wednesday. Though he reached the 3rd round, Azizul only managed to finish 3rd, coming up behind Mikhail Yakovlev of Israel and Rudik Matthews of Poland.
Yes. Now, his teammate, however, Shah Firdaus Sahrum, was unfortunately eliminated in the first round of the repechage. It's quite a interesting way to pronounce it. But anyway, apart from that, debutant Izzati Asri also faced early elimination in the women's keirin. Now, it was quite sad for me because I was expecting more from her because we have been, talking about how she would fare in the Olympics, but the early elimination was a little bit of like a cut, like anticlimactic kind of situation. So Datuk, from your side, did you expect more from our cycling athletes at least?
Yeah, actually, we are targeted. Datuk Jijo is one of gold medal contenders for Malaysia. Even Datuk Azizul sendiri promised that he want to bring a gold medal for Malaysia. Yang itu memang kita tak boleh nafikan sebabnya kita tahu Datuk Azizul adalah seorang orang kata fighter dalam acara track ni but jangan lupa that even yesterday walaupun dia kalah dalam sprint, dia gagal untuk pergi ke quarter final, tapi actually saya percaya, I believe that Datuk Jijo is focused more on keirin punya acara acara keirin. Tapi kalau kita lihat sprint semalam pun quite surprising kalau kita tengok Henry Leverson dengan the Australian tu, memang dia memang betul-betul sekarang ni dah sampai kepada tahap memang sampai dia break the world record dalam acara sprint tu. Kita nampak satu perkara yang menjanjikan, satu saingan yang sukar kepada Datuk Jijo even dalam acara keirin nanti, because they are going to face this the same rider yang dalam acara sprint. Tapi apa pun kita harapkan, we are still hoping that Datuk Izzul can do something for Kirin lah.
I mean, so Pocket Rocketman, right? I mean, he's definitely shown a strong potential. And then, yes, Dato', he broke his own national record. But what more can we actually expect from him? I mean, he got out of surgery, we know that. And then for this Olympics, it was, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, ini adalah last Olympics dia untuk contend, betul tak? So what more can we expect?
Okay, first I just want to clarify about the individual sprint events yesterday. So they all three, Azizul and Shah are not targeting this event. This is basically just a warm up for them.
I see.
Okay, so I mean a lot of people may not understand why we are not targeting gold in this as well. So the reason is the individual sprint is a one-on-one race between two riders, and in this particular event, usually the rider who is bigger, stronger, can push a bigger gear on his bike and will be easier for him to win the race. So Malaysian riders, which are typically smaller, are at a disadvantage in this particular event. So that's why if you saw the repechage for Azizul yesterday, he wasn't really giving it full gas in that repechage because they do not want to compete in today's quarters and semis as well as the final tomorrow if they had got that far because first of all, it's unlikely they will get that far past the quarters even if he did win the repechage, but then they'll be wasting energy before the Kirin.
This was a tactical decision then?
Yes. This was fully expected. We knew this is going to happen already.
But was it a tactical decision to at least score the bronze though, Dato'?
No, I don't think seperti yang as Fadhli say that memang kita tak target pun any medal from sprint for Datuk Izzul, and some of we also worried about Datuk Azizul punya orang kata conditions kalau dia all out dalam sprint, nanti kita risau takut apa yang kita harap daripada Kirin kita akan terlepas macam tu saja. Tapi apa pun yang seperti yang disebut tadi, apa yang boleh membantu Datuk Azizul untuk mendapat pingat ataupun kita katakan boleh kita letakkan pertaruhan untuk pingat kali ini ialah kita bawa additional support untuk Datuk Azizul kali ini. We are worried about dia punya healthy conditions kan. Tapi kita ada bawa tim, saya dipahamkan kontijen kita bawa doktor pakar jantung untuk sentiasa memantau Datuk Azizul punya keadaan kesihatan. Jadi ini satu perkara yang mungkin sedikit tidak merisaukan kita lah. So dan kita harap Datuk Azizul boleh orang kata betul-betul fokus untuk Kirin punya acara selepas inilah.
For you, Fadhli, at least what are you expecting for this weekend, I suppose?
For this weekend, I'm expecting Azizul to go all out for the goal, and I say it's 50-50 chance because Kirin is a 6 riders race at a time. If the sprint it was 1 versus 1, Kirin is 6 riders in each race. So when everybody is jostling for position and trying to get the best line to the finish, that's when accidents can happen. Accidents are quite common in the Kirin. So barring any bad luck, I say Azizul has 50-50 chance of that gold medal. Also because tactically, Harry Levresen from the Netherlands, who is the favourite for all sprint events, actually sprint and Kirin, he is expected to go until the final in the sprint, as well as the Australian who Datuk mentioned just now, Matthew Richardson. So what we want is for them to go until the final and exhaust themselves, so that we go in the Kirin with fresh legs after 2 days of rest, and then we can beat them in the final on Sunday.
Oh no, are we like exposing a little secret of
no,
our
this is
strategy?
Everybody knows this. It's exactly what happened in Tokyo actually. However, we were unlucky in the final because there was a tactical situation by one of the Australian riders at the time, which allowed Jason Kenny from Great Britain, Sir Jason already now, to win the goal. So otherwise, Azizul would have, I think he probably would have won it already for us then.
So now he can better that record from silver in Tokyo to gold this year, right?
He definitely has the ability to do it, but then there's also an element of luck, as I said, in the Kirin. It's not a straightforward race.
I mean, the country's head track coach, cycling coach John BC also said that, you know, for this particular Paris Olympic, there's a little bit of difference when it comes to the terrain. I mean, when it comes to the surface, the velodrome, it's been resurfaced. Now, a lot of people might not know, how would it impact athletes' performance here, Datuk? From your past observation in games, how big of a change can an environment impact performance of our athletes?
Saya lihat so far tak ada masalah pun, tak ada isu pasal even the velodrome ataupun track baru yang digunakan di Paris ni, tak ada rungutan tentang isu-isu tersebut. Dan kita nampak malah kalau kita tengok race pun nampak lebih, dia punya speed ataupun dia punya lebih laju daripada biasa. Itu sebabnya kita nampak ia memberikan advantage kepada Leverkusen dengan Matthew Rickardson daripada Australia untuk melakukan catatan yang memecahkan rekod dunia. Jadi ini satu orang kata tidaklah sebenarnya mengganggu ataupun orang kata menjejaskan prestasi kita punya rider kita lah.
Now on to our shuttlers, the performance of our shuttlers, our badminton team at the games. And I don't think I can talk about our badminton team without first pointing to the stars of the show, or at least stole the spotlight for a little bit, Pearly Tan and Tina, who did so well for themselves. I mean, they got all the way up to the semi-finals. They they pulled a major upset against the world number 9 ranked Indonesian pair in the quarterfinals to get to the semi-finals. Unfortunately, they lost the semis to the Chinese pair. And I think, from that, they maybe, let the defeat, the loss, get to them a little bit, which they carried with them, that momentum carried on with them to the bronze medal match, and, unfortunately weren't able to win the medal in the end. But I think how far they got at the Paris Games is a testament to their performance overall. I think it's an improvement from where they've been before, right? Okay,
if you look into Pelitan and Tina, actually earlier memang before Olympics, before our women's double qualified for the Olympics, the performance is up and down, and then we are not really confident that this women double will going until
where we let
until semi-final. But when it's come to Olympics, anything can happen actually. Look how they bring themselves untuk orang kata dengan sokongan peminat, kita dapat lihat bagaimana dia dapat meningkatkan kembali dia punya prestasi dia sampai ke separuh akhir. Dan apa yang kita nampak dekat sini adalah satu gandingan yang berjaya membentuk kembali satu fighting spirit yang begitu kuat, satu orang kata chemistry yang begitu baik, yang akhirnya membolehkan mereka kembali semula mendapat prestasi mereka pada waktu yang tepat di Sukan Olimpik. Sebabnya kalau kita tengok yang sebelum ni memang up and down, and then mungkin kita pun risau gandingan ini tidak layak disebabkan kecederaan yang dialami oleh Tina sebelum ini. Jadi tim itu terumbang-ambing. Itu sebabnya bila mereka menang gangsa, Tina sendiri meluahkan terima kasih, mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Peli kerana terpaksa seolah-olah macam bersorangan begitu lama cover untuk sampai mereka layak ke Sukan Olimpik lah. I'm confident that after Olympics, with the good performance, with the good achievement in Paris, kita memang boleh harapkan selepas ini gandingan women's double ni, memang kita harapkan mereka perlu prepare betul-betul. Mereka tidak boleh lagi menunggu untuk 4 tahun lagi untuk memastikan mereka layak sekali lagi ke Olimpik. Anggaplah Olimpik itu akan berlangsung setiap tahun, supaya Pelitan dengan Tina boleh lagi kita harapkan untuk menang pingat kali ini, maybe as a gold medalist for the next Olympic. Sebab they have all the strength. Cuma kalau kita we call back how they play until 211 shot during the Malaysian Masters 2023, satu permainan yang begitu lama sekali. That orang kata rally tu menyebabkan kita punya perceptions of kita punya penyokong-penyokong peminat sukan merasakan ini satu permainan yang meletihkan, memenatkan untuk just nak mendapatkan 1 point. That's why perkara inilah yang bila pelita dan Tina bermain, kita rasakan mereka masih lagi mengamalkan corak permainan yang sama, yang memenatkan, yang meletihkan, dan akhirnya mereka bila sampai kepada tahap contohnya semi-final, mereka tidak dapat menggunakan ketegasan yang ada. Mereka mesti berada pada kedudukan kita katakan sangat fit, sangat fit, supaya super fit. Cara mereka bermain itu memerlukan satu keadaan yang super fit, barulah mereka boleh pergi sampai ke final.
Do you think that moving forwards, maybe they should rethink their strategies and shorten their rallies?
Yes.
And have more aggressive
Yes,
play?
more aggressive and make sure that to get as fast as to get a point very fast.
Right.
Orang kata tak boleh nak dapatkan satu mata tu terlalu lama. Yang itu saja yang dia perlu perbaiki. Yang lain-lain, kalau kita tengok tentang chemistry-nya, tengok tentang fighting spirit-nya, tengok tentang teknik permainannya, semua ada.
Right. I mean, we spoke about strategy and we spoke about partnership, and then of course tadi Datuk, you mentioned about Tina expressing her gratitude towards Pearly, and Pearly similarly to Tina. Here, I want to highlight what's the importance of having that good partnership and having to train and foster the, how to say, macam this sort of like telekinesis to come to a certain understanding in terms of how you play the game, right? Without even like having to tell your partner what you're going to do next. It's already intuitive in that sense.
It looks any double teams, whether women's double or team or men's double, masalah bersama dengan pasangan ni akan berlaku. Tidak ada pasangan yang tidak akan menghadapi masalah, perselisihan faham dan sebagainya. Tapi bagaimana mereka mengatasinya, mereka membawanya dalam permainan, bagaimana nak mengukuhkan chemistry antara satu sama lain. Jadi ini memang satu cabaran yang besar, satu cabaran yang sangat kuat kepada pemain-pemain yang beraksi dalam acara doubles. Jadi kita bernasib baiklah, macam Pelitan dengan Tina ni. Sebelum ni memang dah ada isu tentang perselisihan faham dan sebagainya, tapi mereka berjaya orang kata memperbetulkan kembali, memantapkan kembali segala salah faham tersebut sehingga mereka dapat orang kata kembali kepada prestasi mereka sekarang. Ini satu keadaan yang sebenarnya memang sukar untuk orang kata untuk kita bermain dengan pasangan kita selama-lamanya tanpa ada sebarang rasa rasa kecil hati dan sebagainya kan, kecuali lah mungkin even pasangan rasa dijalani pun dulu pun ada juga, tapi mereka berjaya mengatasikan. Jadi kita harap yang kita nampak sekarang ni belum ada lagi kita punya gandingan yang kita katakan boleh kita lihat sebagai simbol perpaduan kaum dekat Malaysia. Bila adanya Pelitan dengan Tina, itu sebab mereka mendapat sokongan yang begitu kuat. Mereka bermain dengan begitu bersemangat. Jadi ini satu elemen yang sebenarnya perlu kita lebih perbanyakkan lagi, lebih banyak gandingan yang orang kata terdiri daripada pelbagai kaum ataupun etnik. Sebab kita tahu sebenarnya bila ada pelbagai kaum dalam membentuk gandingan bergu ataupun dalam apa pun acara berpasukan, kita ini sebenarnya orang kata melengkapi antara satu sama lain seperti mana yang berlaku sebelum ini. Jadi ini satu benda yang menarik. Mungkin satu hari nanti kita bukan nak lihat Pelitan dengan Tina, mungkin entah selepas ini kita harapkan ada gandingan mungkin daripada pemain yang berasal daripada suku kaum di Sarawak ataupun di Sabah, yang bersama dengan suku kaum yang ada di Semenanjung. Yang ini yang kita mahukan. Dalam
the unification in sports lah, what we're trying to talk about right now, can start for, I mean, that's the other aspect when it comes to sports. I mean, Fadhli, from your observation, how has the young reacted to the wins, especially from Pearly and Tina?
When they win, mostly it's positive lah. But then sometimes when they lose, then it becomes a bit mixed. But in general, with Pearly and Tina, I think they're quite popular, and everybody was really happy to see them make the semis and go on to place fourth. Right. Because if you remember initially, when the group draw came out for the doubles, their group was quite difficult, right? So there was already concern that they may not get past the group stage. But then I think that also helped them a bit by being the underdogs, they probably felt slightly less pressure. So that allowed them to play more freely, and that carried them until the semi-finals. Until the semi-finals. However, I think in the bronze medal match, the pressure may have got to them, because I don't think they've ever experienced that kind of pressure in a match before. I mean, it's Olympic bronze on the line. So perhaps I think another Olympic cycle, and they probably can win it for us.
And following that match, Datuk Nicole David, as wonderful as an icon that she is, she put out a really touching tribute for our doubles pair. Did you manage to catch that? I felt that was really nice, a really nice gesture from Nicole David, saying that regardless of how you did today, regardless of how you finished, you've done us proud already. And I think that's really encouraging to have someone like Nicole David put out a message like that for them.
Well, if anybody who understands what they're feeling, is probably Nicole, because she's athlete herself who spent like almost 2 decades on tour as well. So she knows, she's experienced the highs and the lows as well. So it probably mean a lot to them as well to get that kind of support from Nicole.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay.
I just want to go back to about, when you're talking about chemistry, keserasian, right? So it's one thing to have good chemistry between the players in the doubles team. But I want to bring our attention to what Datuk Lee Chong Wei had to say. He said we got to start working towards the next Olympics, which will be in LA 4 years from now. And the first thing that we need to work towards is to make sure that we don't keep changing coaches, because he says that it takes up to about 6 months, for players, athletes to get used to and transition to the new coach. Is this going to be a problem for us?
Yeah, I agree with Datuk Lee Chong Wei, because you know what happened in Japan team. Why they keep the Koreans, the Korean coach Park Ju-bong stay with the Japanese team to build up a team for how many years? Not kita kadang-kadang sometimes Malaysia ni tahun ni pakai coach ni, tahun depan dah tukar coach lain. Itu memang akan orang kata akan affects the performance, the orang kata kaedah kejuruteraan or methods of coaching that will be developed to the players. Jadi benda-benda macam ni kita kena tengok sebab kita biarkan masa yang seorang coach untuk membangunkan satu players itu perlu mengambil masa yang agak lama. Tidak boleh kita mendapatkan result yang orang kata very fast result. Tahun ini baru coach tu develop that players, tahun depan kita dah nak menang di pingat emas Olimpik ataupun pingat emas All England dan sebagainya. Tapi ini yang kita kena tengok. That's why kita tengok baru ni bila when Malaysian badminton team arrived in KLIA yesterday, our coach from Indonesia, apa tu nama dia, Rexy Manaki dah beritahu dah he want to stay in Malaysia because they know that we got a potential badminton players yang dia boleh orang kata boleh build up lagi, boleh apa orang polish lagi supaya for the next Olympic kita akan ada medalist, mungkin a gold.
But on that, it's still very up in the air, right? On Rexy's contract continuation and everything. Or has it been confirmed that he will be extended?
Yeah.
No, that one I can't speak, but I don't know.
Oh, you don't have any updates on that?
I don't have any update on that.
I see. So it's okay. So probably whatever Rexy
Maybe
briefed to the media is like he's just trying to plead lah.
Sometimes coach memang macam tu. Kadang they know that the contract will be expired kan tapi dia dah menunjukkan minat and then hopefully that the Badminton Association of Malaysia will continue his contract.
I mean, because the conversation is online. I think I saw it on Facebook just yesterday actually. I mean, okay, now we want to go to talk about our shutters performance still. Another pair here, Aaron and Wuyik, obviously. When they won the medal, that was the first for Malaysia. I mean, it's not gold, but it felt like it, right? Because it's the first medal in the Olympics for us. At that time, where were you? And how did you feel?
for this, you're talking about their first medal in
Correct.
Paris.
Yeah.
I was watching the game at home, and halfway through, it didn't look good for us lah. Halfway through the match, for the first game and a half. Actually, until the end of the second game, sorry, and until they saved those 4 match points. So after they won that game, I knew that they would win the match because missing 4 match points would have definitely shaken their opponent's confidence.
Right. I mean, I'm the only reason why I asked that question is because I personally, I was like in traffic. I was not necessarily in the know that we are going to fight for our bronze medal. So it's only after that I followed the kind of impact or the magnitude of like our win there, because I do not think that we actually expected anything from the duo until they actually scored and secure our first medal in the Olympics. Datuk.
Yeah. Actually, we are a little bit worried. Our contingent balik with empty-handed. Tapi bila kita dapat pingat gangsa daripada Aaron dengan Sovic ni, so semua orang happy lah. Of course, our contingent also happy, our minister also happy. Tapi bagi saya, that gangsa yang dimenang tu memanglah kita kena appreciate, kita kena proud dengan pencapaian Aaron dengan Sovic. Tetapi if you look into pencapaian ataupun kejayaan itu sebenarnya adalah dia lebih kepada mempertahankan ataupun menyamai pencapaian yang dimenangi, bukan satu pencapaian baru kepada Aaron dan juga Sovic. Kita kalau boleh, kita akan lebih, we are more happy kalau Aaron dan Sovic ni mungkin dapat apa orang kata upgrade kepada silver ataupun gold tahun ni. Memang ni lah, itu yang kita harapkan sangat lah. Tapi apapun, ia satu pencapaian yang orang kata sangat baik lah kepada gandingan tersebut lah. Bukan senang sebenarnya nak menang pingat di Olimpik ni, even bronze medal.
Fadhli, you mentioned a little bit about the technicalities there. So what were among the things that you noticed that was quite a challenge to the duo leading up to where they lasted?
I think badminton is always a game about who has the momentum. If you notice, it always goes 5 points to this guy and then 5 points to the other guy. So they were struggling to find their rhythm for the first 2 games until the end of the second game. So I think once they had that, had the feeling, had the rhythm, and then they broke their opponent's confidence by denying them 4 match points. After that, only they started to really play their usual game in the third set, and that allowed them to win.
Right. Yeah. That must have been a relief for you lah, kan?
Actually, I think the badminton team did good, not outstanding, but good in Tokyo, because as Datuk said, there was some concern that they might not win anything at all, because even though there's a lot of talk about us going to win gold in badminton and so on paper we already knew that it's not easy, because you can see the draw for Politina was quite tough, and Aaron and Wu Yi also had tough opposition as well, and Zija would have to face Axelsen in the final if he made it that far, which he was not able to make that far. So we already knew on paper that it would be tough for them, but to me, to get 2 bronze is good achievement, not outstanding but good for badminton.
Do you think with badminton though, because there's always this pressure every time we have the Olympics, they're expected to bring back a medal. It's the go-to,
because it's the sport.
Exactly, we place our bets on them the most, and because of these high stakes, do you think that they falter under this pressure, this immense pressure that they have to carry with them?
I think the pressure does affect athletes. Like, it's normal in any sport also, you have pressure. I mean, if you talk about pressure, Lionel Messi had even greater pressure to win the World Cup for Argentina.
Right.
He can still take a penalty and put it in. So if we want to be the best, we have to find a way to deal with that pressure. There's no escaping it.
Talking about dealing with pressure, did you think that, Zija dealt with his pressure properly? He scored the bronze and he was happy about it, but the reaction out of it was that this is for the people who doubted me. Right, the immediate response from him was that this is for the people who doubted me, meaning to say that were you, like on the rocks? Like you actually took in the comments and criticism too personally?
Who, Zija? I think Zija, I think he's made it clear that he's not happy with the media and all that, the coverage about him before this. And as a human, I can sympathize with him, because I know it's not easy to be a public figure, a high-profile public figure in any field. Doesn't matter whether you're sports, you're in entertainment, you're in politics. If you're high profile and you're important, there will always be scrutiny of your performance, either by the media, the public, or netizens, or whoever.
Right.
So for Zija, I think he did well to get the bronze, and I think maybe his mental strength has improved a bit since maybe the past year and so on, and he's dealing with the attention better now.
Right.
But there's still probably room for improvement from his side.
I mean, we're the media, right? So we probably might be a little bit biased in this, but let's turn the attention to you. I mean, okay, about Zija. Well, an emotional Zija actually declared that he deserved the medal after all of his struggles. I mean, we mentioned about it, and he vowed to return stronger in the LA Games, basically LA Olympics in 2028. Now, the bigger question here is that can independent players make it? Because this is what Zija is all about. Your thoughts on this?
So I think it's not only Zija, it's independent players. But you look into Vita Excelsen is also independent players. Vita Excelsen based in Dubai, if I'm not mistaken. Semua sebenarnya, whether you are with the National Badminton Association ataupun you ada di luar as a professional players, sebenarnya it depends pada how you manage your schedule, how about your team, you have enough additional support, you have your who's your coach. Macam Lizia dulu masalahnya bila dia tak ada coach, itu sebabnya masa tu dia punya performance untuk ambing. Tapi sekarang because kalau dengan kemenangan ni saya percaya with the bronze medal, saya rasa dia dah tahu dah dia akan orang kata bagaimana how do he manage dia punya pergerakan dia ataupun dia punya perjalanan untuk menyertai apa-apa tournament selepas inilah. Sebabnya dengan menangnya pingat gangsa ni, dia akan membuka balik semula orang kata lembaran baru dalam diri, terutama selepas dia melepaskan segala orang kata perasaan dia selepas dia menang pingat gangsa. Walaupun kita lihat di sini, saya lebih suka sebenarnya dia cuma menyatakan rasa syukur saja dengan kejayaan itu dan berterima kasih kepada sampai yang memberikan sokongan, yang tidak memberikan sokongan ke, dia just ucapkan terima kasih kerana itulah yang mengajar dia untuk menjadi seorang pemain yang matang. Saya lebih suka ke arah itulah. Betul. Daripada kita mencetuskan pelbagai orang kata menghangatkan lagi ataupun dengan kejayaan
fanning
itu menjadikan dia sebagai modal ataupun perkara untuk dia orang kata menyatakan perkara yang tidak begitu baiklah. Tapi sebagai atlet dia perlu hadapi ini semua.
This mental strength, I feel like it's not being talked about enough, because to me that's what sets the champions apart from the rest of the pack in the in the league. In fact, they're probably, the champions are all in a different league of their own. So what's still missing for our players? Because I think that we are already there, or at least they have one foot in the door already. Our athletes are world-class athletes, by far. But it's just to have that extra bit in the mental strength to make sure that when they are faced with, say, a match point down and trying to save, trying to still be in the match, how should they fight that and be able to battle whatever thoughts are running in their head and
basically
focus on
not become Roger Federer lah.
Although Roger Federer, I would argue, is probably one of the best in terms of mental strength. But how do we?
But actually, it's easy for us to say when you see, like, it's not only happened to kita punya our athlete badminton player, individual players, but also it's happened to our hockey team. When they are leading by 1 or 2 goals, even with the 1 or 2 minutes before the end of the match, kita boleh kalah juga. So we are talking about mental strength, is that? Tapi apa yang kita buat dengan mental strength? What are we going to overcome our problem in mental strength? Banyak perkara yang kita perlu buat. Banyak latihan yang perlu kita buat. Banyak kita kena mungkin ada latihan bukan yang di dalam padang saja. Tetapi juga dari segi untuk orang kata mengukuhkan rohani dan jasmani. Rohani dan jasmani. Yoga, kita katakan aktiviti-aktiviti seperti apa, healing dan sebagainya, itu juga membantu sebenarnya untuk kita memperkukuhkan kita punya mental strength, dan juga sentiasa berdepan dengan, sentiasa kita berikan tekanan apabila kita menjalani latihan dan sebagainya. Tidak boleh berada dalam keadaan yang selesa. Kalau tidak, kita akan berdepan dengan masalah yang sama. Tapi kalau kita tengok kepada, kadang-kadang kita perlu satu turning point yang besar. Bila kita berjaya mengatasi that issue, selepas ini kita dah tak ada masalah dengan pressure. Umpamanya macam kita harapkan apa yang berlaku kepada Lizija, second set dia ketinggalan 3-8 with Lakshya Sen. Bagaimana dia boleh overcome balik, dapat straight 8 poin selepas itu untuk menang interval interval, and then kemudian dia menang merampas set kedua, dan set ketiga dah tak ada masalah bagi dia dah. That is the thing yang kita kena tengok, bagaimana satu-satu blocking yang berlaku dalam mental strength tu. Tapi bila you manage to overcome, kita harapkan selepas ni tak ada lagi lah, tak ada lagi masalah dengan apa orang kata kekuatan mental yang perlu dia hadapi lah.
And like you, Datuk, I completely agree with you that it's great to see that Lizija has been able to get it off his chest, like what he's felt, his frustrations, because reminds me of another great champion, Novak Djokovic. In fact, I would probably argue he's the greatest of all time, tennis player of all time. He said, he's human, he's flawed. To say that these champions, someone like him, does not go through these ups and downs during a match is that's just false, because he has so many thoughts going through his head, especially when he's a few points down, he's trying to fend off some match points. The only difference is they let it, they acknowledge that they are, sad or frustrated. Sometimes they vent it out, they smash their rackets. But it doesn't go on. They don't let it drag on for the rest of the match, which I think that's what sets him apart from the rest, because other people, they have the same, moments, but they let it get to them, and that affects them the whole match. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I agree. Because if you look into, even if you look into Novak Djokovic, if you notice when they play with a very strong opponent, kita tengok Novak Djokovic ni bila dia main dengan very strong opponent dengan Nadal, when Nadal is still is good, one of the with a good stamina, fit and everything, you can see that how Djokovic play with this psychology. So he will act like he was injury, and then bila dia dah bila the opponent dah rasa macam confident, so kita akan tengok balik macam mana dia akan overcome balik that with a very strong mental strength. Itu memang ada kepada semua lah. Kalau you want to become a champion in sport, kalau you tak boleh overcome dengan you don't have a mental strength, memang you tak akan ke mana-mana lah. Even pingat gangsa Olimpik pun you tak akan dapat lah.
Tapi spectators would say otherwise. They like to see when there's like drama. They like to see when things are reactive, right? Because that's why people want to watch the game. But anyway, it's not necessarily great when it comes from the athlete side of this whole showcase, I would say. And when we talk about athletes' performance, I think there's a certain set of like criteria in terms of how we want them to act, but we rarely talk about how the organizers or the people who are responsible to ensure that the environment is safe for them. For instance, there were reports of Zija saying that he's not even getting proper access to physiotherapy. How much of that is true, Fadhli?
No, I think the issue there was that he was not able to get an accreditation for his physiotherapist and his sparring partner. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So you have to understand, at the Olympics, the most prestigious and biggest games on earth for sports, there's so many athletes there, and there's limited infrastructure to bring people into, for example, the games village. You can't oversupply the media accreditation card, the accreditation card, and then you have too many people inside any facility, for example, the game village or anything like that, because it will be a logistics problem. So for this case, normally athletes can use the common physiotherapists and masseuse and all that, which is provided
by
the organizer. And also this time Malaysia House kan, maybe Datuk boleh cerita sikit.
Yang actually Olympic, this is Olympic, a very prestigious event yang kita kadang-kadang netizen mungkin tak tahu in terms of accreditation rules sebab saya pun pernah involve manage contingent. Kita tahu not every contingent can apply how many accreditation card you want, because it depends on the numbers of contingent and then depends on requirement juga. Macam case Malaysia ni, kita tahu tim kita ada 8 players dan hanya beberapa jurulatih saja yang dibenarkan untuk dibawa masuk ke dalam apa orang kata, sama ada you akan stay dekat Olympic Village apatah lagi kalau you nak stay dalam Olympic Village. Kalau stay di luar kan perlukan accreditation juga untuk just masuk ke dalam venue
betul.
Jadi tak semua akan tak semua permintaan ketujuan itu akan dipenuhi. Ada numbers tertentu yang diberikan. Sama juga apa yang berlaku kepada Go Jinwei dan juga kata Lezija sebab sebenarnya permasalahan ni bukannya simply MSN ataupun OCM ataupun contingent Malaysia akan dapat that accreditation it's beyond their control also kan.
Okay, tapi what would that say with the current drama? I mean, it's the elephant in the room because OCM has also been under fire for its president Norzah Zakaria bringing his family and
that's a huge
caught on camera. We're talking about all this rules and regulation when it comes to accreditation. So macam mana ni? Like, how do you think the ministry or at least OCM themselves have to actually ensure this sort of accountability?
Actually I can divide it into two main things. First, you have to look into privilege, and then second, kita tengok sensitivity. If we are talking about privilege, who have a privilege untuk dapatkan semua tu? Of course lah, Tan Sri Norzah as OCM. I'm not backing Tan Sri Norzah.
Right.
Tapi as a president of Majlis Olympic of Malaysia, Olympic Council of Malaysia, and also he's one of the executive members in IOC, Asia lagi, memang dia ada privilege. Memang he got that privilege kan. So it's up to you to use that privilege, right? Kalau you nakkan privilege tu, you nak marah dia dapat privilege tu, you jadilah macam dia.
Faham.
Kan tetapi dia ada privilege, sama dia nak guna ataupun tidak, it's up to him kan. Tetapi go back to sensitivity. Kadang-kadang kita perlu ada sensitivity juga. We must also have sensitivity because that issue was brought up before Olympics. Because our contingent small, but the numbers of officials
tinggi, high,
sangat ramai kan. Ini we are not asking who comes together with minister, who comes together with deputy minister.
More officials than
more officials kita tak tanya yang tu. You talking about accountability, where is the accountability? You want to see where is the list. Betul tak kan tapi that's yang berlaku sekarang ni. Kita kena tengok, we have to look into two aspects.
But do you think sorry
First privilege, second sensitivity. So dekat sini kita nampak macam seolah netizen akan cakap Tan Sri Norzah tak sensitif, tak ada sensitivity dalam keadaan ni. Kenapa ada atlet yang memerlukan untuk accreditation tapi tak dapat. Ada atlet yang memerlukan nak bawa jurulatihnya, tak dapat. Ada atlet yang patut nak bawa dia punya massage ke, dia punya pembantu yang lain ke, tak dapat tidak dibenarkan. Tapi Tan Sri Norzah boleh bawa dia punya katalah wife and anak dia untuk. Tapi that one is privilege. You cannot use even the accreditation pass that given to Tan Sri Norzah, to his family, pun tak boleh guna juga kepada kalau Tan Sri Norzah bagi the allocation kepada
people outside of ni.
that's why benda-benda macam ni netizen pun kena faham dan kita pun kena faham. Kita
we have to understand that at the end of the day, depending on your rank, there are
Yeah.
certain level of benefits that you're entitled to. Okay, but
Yeah.
the issue here, like you mentioned, because of this, the contingency itself, and then the team itself that went is literally very small, but then the officials are very high, so this became an issue. But do you think calls for Tan Sri to resign is a little bit too extreme?
I think that one is netizen call, is it? Netizen call or
Netizens, basically.
only minister? I hope that if minister or deputy minister call Tan Sri Noza to resign, that one is maybe Tan Sri Noza can consider. If netizen, you cannot rely on netizen every time they.
But netizens also equate to public pressure. So our ministry has declined to comment. At least, I suppose they're trying to mitigate the situation. But itulah macam mana kita nak manage this sort of like disruption here, because it just kind of takes away from the actual Olympics.
That's why in issue of Tan Sri Noza, saya tengoklah, saya melihat ke hadapan lah. I think as a leader, sebagai pemimpin yang berjiwasraya, kalau dia rasa dia melakukan kesalahan, dia melakukan kesilapan dalam hal ini, mungkin dia terlepas pandang, kita leave it pada dia lah untuk membuat keputusan sama dia nak meletak jawatan ataupun tidak. Tetapi sebenarnya as a netizen, sebenarnya tidak semua netizen berhak untuk menyatakan semua pemimpin persatuan ni bila ni you kena letak jawatan, salah ni letak jawatan, salah ni letak jawatan. Sedangkan kita kena tengok daripada aspek macam saya sebutkan tadi, dari segi privilege-nya, dari segi sensitivity-nya, dari segi right-nya, yang tu pun kita kena tengok. Dan sebenarnya bagi saya peranan ini perlu juga dilihat secara lebih menyeluruh oleh kementerian lah, pihak Kementerian Belia dan Sukan, menteri dan timbalan menteri lah. Benda ni sebabnya bila siapa-siapa kontijen Malaysia nak pergi luar negara pun, you kena tengok dulu, you kena tengok list dulu siapa yang pergi, siapa yang dapat accreditation, siapa yang tak dapat accreditation. Jadi benda-benda ni sebenarnya boleh kita kurangkan dia punya isu dulu sebelum.
Betul.
Kan?
Susah nak menegakkan benda yang dah basah when actually the team is already there, and then we're trying to rationalize it. Okay.
Amalina, sorry, just nak interrupt you. Just to clarify just now pasal Datuk cakap about the tag. So OCM issued a statement I think a few days ago about that tag. So the tags that for these VIP ones, they're only valid for VIP areas. So if you give it to a coach or physio or masseuse or
it would be irrelevant lah.
It would be of no use because they cannot enter the competition, the field of play. They cannot enter the games village. So you can only be in the VIP area and maybe talk to your athlete from there. So it's not very conducive for them if they had it.
So to our audience, that's some sort of clarity to you if you are against or you are with or you are basically just neutral about the whole situation. But this is in fact what has been discussed so far. Anyway, we have a few more minutes. We want to talk about our medal scores so far, and as well as like leading up to the Olympic Games. We've been talking about this whole RTG campaign, right? But yes, how far are we from actually gaining the goal? That's all. How realistic can we actually achieve our target here?
Okay, we go back to RTG. Why they form RTG? Because they want put this Paris Olympic. We managed to get our historical gold medal for Malaysia after 68 years we participate in Olympic since 1956 in Melbourne, Australia. Kalau tak dapat, apa makna? Maksudnya bila ada RTG tu, kita tubuh RTG sebab kita nak dapat gold medal yang pertama. Tapi kalau kita tak achieve di Paris ini, kita nak kata apa, perkataan yang lebih besar, maksudnya kita gagal lah, kita tak achieve the target lah. Tapi sebelum kita boleh berkatakan tentang RTG ni gagal, ialah RTG sendiri dah umumkan yang kita akan pergi ke circle kedua RTG, iaitu di LA 2028. Maksudnya dari segi penubuhan ataupun kewujudan RTG itu sendiri telah menunjukkan bahawa RTG ini tidak berakhir di Paris. Jadi ini satu perkara yang kita perlu lihatlah. Mungkin ini juga satu jawapan yang akan diberikan oleh pihak menteri nanti. Kalaulah kata kita at the end of the Olympic in Paris ni, kalau kita tidak dapat juga pingat emas yang pertama kita.
I mean, I suppose irrespective of what sort of medal, what sort of category of medal we win, it's at the end of the day, how you fight for your country. So my last question to each of us, I will answer first, in terms of what we expect with each win and how it would reflect to our country. For me, it's like when you're there, you represent the country, and you actually don't necessarily represent yourself. You are selfless, so you're fighting for a tribe, right? So that to me is important. And that is why when we score a win, it feels like we're a family. That at least is in my view. For you?
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you on family, because that's the great thing about sports and the Olympics in general is that its ability to bring people together. And so when you're representing your country on such a big stage like this, you go in knowing that you have the entire nation backing you, and always cheering on for you no matter what. And then after that, after the games are over, they come back and it's back to square one. Whatever all the hate, whatever comments come your way. But that's just every 4 years you have this unique opportunity
to come together
and to use all of that support, use all of that energy to your advantage, the athletes, I mean. But it is rather unfortunate in terms of expectations. For me, I feel like it's a bit, you're just moving the goalposts further. Oh, we didn't get gold at Paris. Better luck next time.
Go to LA.
And then we don't get it there, then it's, on to the next games. Yeah, but that's just me.
Right.
What about the
I mean, our guests here. We start with Fadhli first.
Yeah.
When it comes to Olympic wins, what does it mean to you? Or at least to sports development in Malaysia?
Well, we didn't talk about Anik Kasdan yet, the weightlifter who finished fourth yesterday.
Okay.
So in his post-competition interview, he said he was sad because he wanted to win so that Malaysian weightlifting in general, the community, would benefit and get more attention from him winning a gold medal. Attention being like more support, funding, and so on. Because currently there's minimal support for weightlifting in Malaysia. There is support, but it's not as big as football or badminton and so on. So he was teary-eyed because he wanted to win, not just for himself, not just for the country, but also for the community who needed the help. So that just shows the kind of spirit that these athletes have. When you have a reason to win which is greater than yourself.
Right. He's still young though, by the way. He's only
22. Yeah. He's 22 and barring any injuries or any issues with him, I'm very confident he'll be on the podium in
a lot
in
of potential,
LA.
that kid, yeah.
But goal, that one is for anyone to say lah. But podium, inshallah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose maybe for you, at least to our athletes who are watching or aspiring athletes who are watching, a failure does not necessarily mean that you will never get to where you want, where you aim to be, right? So maybe kata-kata semangat sedikit.
Yeah, kalau kita tengok sukan ni selalu we are talking about sport. Tiada kegagalan dalam sukan. There is not a failure in sport actually. Tapi sebenarnya ia adalah proses perjalanan untuk melambatkan kejayaan saja sebenarnya kan.
Okay.
Tetapi berbalik pada kenapa kita we are spending so much money in sport, tapi sampai sekarang kita tak dapat gold medal. Tapi kenapa kita still lagi orang kata menyiapkan contingent kita for another 4 more years, and next Olympic LA tak dapat lagi pingat emas, kita akan go for another 2032 punya Olympic. Sebab apa? Sebabnya kalau kita tengok selagi kita tak capai pingat emas tersebut, dekat mana kita nak meletakkan negara kita? Di kalangan negara Asia Tenggara je cukup. Kita nombor berapa sekarang? Negara yang belum lagi mencapai pingat emas. Orang lain semua dah dapat pingat emas. Thailand dah dapat 10, masuk sekarang ni mungkin dah 12 ke. Indonesia 8. Vietnam ada 1 pingat emas. Filipina dah tambah, dah jadi 3. Singapura 1 pingat emas. Kita Vietnam ada pingat emas, kita belum ada pingat emas. Kita sama dengan mana? Kita sama dengan Timor Leste, kita sama dengan Brunei, sama dengan Myanmar, sama dengan Laos. Jadi ini nak meletakkan kita mapping Malaysia punya nama ni di mata dunia kan. Itulah sebabnya kenapa dulu kita sanggup nak mendaki Gunung Everest. Kita sanggup nak merentah Selat Inggeris sebab nak meletakkan nama negara kita ni yang akan bila ada pemenang pingat emas, bila ada rakyat kita yang berjaya, orang kata mendaki Gunung Everest, yang berjaya merentas Selat Inggeris, ialah jati diri bangsa kita ni, jati diri bangsa Malaysia ni. Jadi perlu orang kata kita letakkan di satu aras yang tinggi. Selagi kita gagal meletakkan di satu aras yang tinggi, tak menang di pingat emas di Sukan Olimpik, selagi itulah kita tidak akan orang kata rasa puas hati, selagi itulah kita akan terus berusaha sampailah kita berjaya.
That's true. That's true. And of all the countries that you mentioned in Southeast Asia, it's interesting that you noted like countries like Vietnam, Thailand, and perhaps other countries that are not as well off or economically better, as good as us,
Exactly.
who have already won medals, gold medals. So it's not about money, is it?
Yes,
It's not really about money.
Yes,
Yeah.
you cannot put one gold medal equivalent that money actually.
Yeah.
You cannot. That is very expensive. One gold medal is very expensive for Malaysia
Priceless,
since 1956 until
68 years still,
2024.
Yeah.
So dah berapa banyak kita spend, masih lagi tak dapat pingat emas, betul tak?
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, if that doesn't say anything, I mean, I suppose we have to kind of like shift our mindset and how we want to look at our wins here, because not necessarily, I mean, as you mentioned, not everything is equating to monetary value, right? I mean, when you win something as big as the Olympics, it's just, I mean, it's priceless thing.
Priceless, yeah. You can't put a price tag on it.
Yeah. Anyway, for this particular segment, we've come to the end of it. I just want to thank our guests here today. First up, Datuk Dr. Pekan Ramli, thank you so much for your insights. Datuk, obviously Olympics belum habis lagi. we are still tuning into the games. But of course, kalau ada apa-apa, we will definitely invite you back on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Fadhli, also to join. I rasa macam you nak cakap something.
Tak
ada. Or maybe one last thing, at least in terms of what we are expecting.
expecting from
From the
from
Olympics.
Sunday.
Olympics, yeah. Maybe not just our
this
team, but
this Sunday could be our first gold medal. So tune in. Any given Sunday.
Bet on it,
Rocketman, right? Rocketman, there you go.
Yeah. Right, thank you so much also, Hazween.
Thank you.
And to our audience, don't go anywhere because we will be giving you a little bit of update on the Nenggiri by-election. Just now we talked about things that are developing outside of the country, now inside, domestically. So see you in a bit. Welcome back, everyone. Now, on August 17, the Nenggiri by-election will feature a direct showdown between Barisan Nasional and Perikatan Nasional. Now, representing BN is Kuamusang UMNO Youth Chief Azmawi Fikri Abdul Ghani for the Unity Government. And on the Perikatan Nasional side, they've named Rizwadi Ismail from Bersatu, who recently switched from PAS.
Now, this by-election comes after Kelantan Assembly Speaker Amanik Abdullah declared the seat vacant on June 19th. This followed a notice from Bersatu stating that former Assemblyman Azizi Abu Naim was no longer a party member.
Right. Now, reports from the ground are actually saying that UMNO might stand a chance to shake the boat a little bit for Perikatan Nasional. Now, to give a little bit more insight to this, we have political analyst Professor Dr. Azmi Hassan in sharing a little bit about ground reports and analysis.
Yeah, it's very interesting because right after the last year state election and until a few months back, there is no way that UMNO can, I would say, rebuild the confidence of the Kelantan voters. That was 1 year ago. But again, since Tengku Razali was elected as the, I would say, the Panglima Perang in Nenggiri, and Gua Musang and Tengku Razali, it is very synonymous. And Nenggiri is part of Gua Musang Parliament constituency. So on the ground, there is some, I would say, some excitement within UMNO supporters why Tengku Razali or UMNO lost Nenggiri during the last GE and during the last state election, because majority of UMNO supporters uh, turned away from UMNO and voted for PAS, basically, or Bersatu in this case. What's happening right now, UMNO has a good chance not only to capture the seat, but at least they can reduce the 800 majority, maybe to a few hundred majority. So I guess it is not a clear cut, but at this particular junction, the incumbent has the advantage of retaining the seat. At this particular juncture, what's happening between Bersatu and PAS, their tussle of who should be the candidate, either from Bersatu or PAS, the dissolvement of Bersatu branches in Jeli, I guess it is very dangerous to say status quo will remain. No, because UMNO has a real chance to create an upset in Nenggiri. Well, Bersatu, I think the strength is questionable. Why they won Nenggiri last election is due to PAS supporters. Yes, I think in perception-wise, I guess it really kills the motivation of Perikatan Nasional supporters in this case. But I think the bulk of Nenggiri voters are PAS supporters. And PAS supporters, they are very, very, I would say, very strong in their loyalty towards their party. So the dissolvement of these particular Bersatu branches, the trickle effect will be very, very minimal, because the core support comes from PAS, not from Bersatu. But it gives something that UMNO supporters to be happy about, and this raise the morale of UMNO supporters. So in a way, the impact is minimum, but in terms of perception, I think the UMNO is very, very, I would say, very happy right now. No, it's not an isolated. When Tengku Razali said he want to vet those who want to campaign in Nenggiri, I read it. He don't want any DAP campaigners down in Nenggiri, because as Anthony Lok said yesterday, Pakatan Harapan supporters in Nenggiri, which is a Chinese voters, only comes to less than 40, less than 50. So in Kelantan, especially, DAP is associated with Chinese. So I think it doesn't make sense, because as I see it, the competition is between UMNO versus PAS. So to attract voters for DAP to campaign, I think it will be a negative impact, because the stigma is there, no doubt about it. The stigma is there. Cooley's strategy is correct, trying to demonstrate that in Kelantan, UMNO Kelantan can make the decision, even though they are part of the coalition government at the federal level. Well, in Nenggiri, I think the key factor for UMNO to regain the respect of the younger voters, what happened in Sungai Bakap and what happened in KKB, we know that it's going to be very, very difficult. But in case of Nenggiri, there are another segment which is very critical. This segment usually support UMNO, which is the Orang Asli, which come to about 2,000 to 2,000 plus of voters. For the last state election, only 50% of them came out to vote. So in this case, I think there's a key for UMNO. They need to use Tengku Razali, which is very well known among the Orang Asli, not only in Nenggiri, but also in Gua Musang area, to ensure that these 2,000 plus Orang Asli voters come out and vote. I think that's the key here. Because as I said before this, Pakatan Harapan supporters, which is the Chinese voters, are mounting less than 50. So which is not viable to attract.
Now there you have it, Dr. Azmi Hassan himself sharing a little bit about the Nenggiri polls. Now, if you want to know more developments from the particular by-election, you can follow us on NST Online. Unfortunately, this is the end of our episode. I would like to thank again to our audience and Hazween Hassan for joining me here on set.
always a pleasure.
And to our audience, again, if you like this particular episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell if you haven't already, because you will not only get Beyond the Headlines update, any other news reports under NST Online will be delivered to you. Now, my name is Amalina Kamal, and I'll see you next week.